Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz. We are in Lansing today, joined by John Prost. He is a member of the Michigan State Senate. So I want to speak with you about organ donation. I have a personal story. My uncle, my wife's uncle, needed a kidney. He got one from his son. It was life-changing. It's been over a year, and we're going to have my uncle around for that much longer.
And that is exactly the reason that this is such an important topic. Organ donation saves lives.
Right.
There is just no two ways about it. And virtually everybody that I run into has a story of somebody that they know,
Right.
or a family member like you and your family. And how blessed your family is that that organ is working, is functional, and is making a difference in the lives of your family members.
Now, tragically, there are times when someone loses their life suddenly, maybe because of head trauma, and yet the rest of their body is functioning at 100%. And in those cases, those organs may be harvested. I know that term may be harsh, but that's the term.
That's right.
For the benefit of those still with us.
Exactly. And as tragic as those circumstances are,
Right.
It's a reality. And oftentimes you'll hear of these tragic circumstances, and then in the obituary you may even see 7 lives were made whole or were saved because of Casey's, or in this case, Lauren's Law is
And
what we're
yeah,
referring
let's
to.
talk about Lauren. Tell us
Yeah,
about
you bet.
her.
So Lauren's Law is actually named after an individual that is familiar with this particular problem in his own life. So John, a good buddy of mine down in Niles in the southwest corner of Michigan, had a kidney transplant also just about 35 or 40 years ago.
Oh.
It was a long, long time ago, and the great news about that is that he has seen the benefit of another 30 years of life because of it.
Right.
So Lauren's Law is modeled after other states that have instituted Lauren's Law. It's the name of the young lady who saved lives because of the organ donation program. And really, it works with our Secretary of State to ensure that when you get your license renewed, or when you go to get your license for the first time, you must be asked to deny participation. Right now, when you go up to the counter, that's right. When you go to the counter right now, you're asked if you'd like to participate. In this case, it's do you wish to not participate?
What do you make of that? I mean, I could see folks on the right and the left raising eyebrows on that one.
It's still a matter of personal preference. It
True.
still allows you that personal preference, but it changes the focus to the clerk across the counter having a better sense of the question that's being asked. And then you as a patron, you as a constituent of the state of Michigan, have the ability then to say, yes, I want to save lives. The only way that you're out is if you said, I don't choose to save lives.
At this point, about 50% are registered to be organ donors, which is up a bit, not that much as you would have hoped, I would presume. What does that statistic tell you?
That there are enough people that are not aware yet. Certainly if there's religious issues or if there's concerns that folks have and they're not interested, it's a difficult thing to talk about. It's just like planned giving in your future and directives should you be incapable of speaking to the doctors. You need to work with your family on those sorts of issues too, that do not resuscitate language and some of the areas that you would manage your own personal issues if you're unable to respond. We don't like to talk about these, but it's a reality of life. And if we know that it's that reality, then why not give the very best opportunity to be an organ donor like I am and to have families saved like yours?
I am too. Let's talk about planned giving.
Yeah, you bet.
In the final analysis, we all want to be charitable. It's part of kind of the American DNA, the Michigander DNA. Yet there are some folks that look to incentivize giving, and that incentivizing can be done through tax policy.
That's right.
Federal policy allows for some incentivizing for charitable giving. Many states
That's right.
allow deductions for charitable giving. What's the law in Michigan?
The state of Michigan in 2011 changed the entire tax code. And we did so under the idea that we want to be as attractive as possible where everybody is treated equally. In doing that, we got rid of exemptions and tax credits, tax benefit that can be provided to individual corporations, individual businesses. Everybody individually and everybody in the corporate world no longer has carve-outs, no longer has an ability to benefit through the tax code. One of the problems with that, though, is that we also got rid of the tax deduction that could be afforded to each of us as citizens in Michigan for charitable giving.
And I want to talk about that in a moment, but I
bet.
want to back up and kind of talk about the policy behind the tax code. Philosophically, what do you think about the government looking to incentivize or disincentivize behavior based upon tax code?
Philosophically, I think it makes perfect sense the government be as light a touch as possible and hands-off. So I was supportive of all of those changes. But I also know that we've seen a reduction in overall contributions to charitable organizations. Senator Shoemaker's bill would reinstate that. So I think it makes some sense for us to look in some areas that are very targeted, are very select. And look, charitable contributions are really, as you said, it's part of the DNA of Michigan citizens, taking care of one's neighbor. I think that is where we need to find proper charitable tax policy that allows for that, that helps to increase and incentivize that.
So,
on its face, though, stay out of the business. Be light touch. Don't pick winners and losers. In this case, I think everybody's a winner in Michigan.
So with regard to the bill you just mentioned, will it be broad-based? Will there be deductions permitted if it's given by a corporation, if it's given by an individual, given by an LLC, by an estate?
This would be the individual tax credit.
Only individuals?
Only individuals. So the idea would be that all of the 501c3 charitable contribution organizations would be eligible for contributions to be given, but through the individual tax code. It wouldn't be about corporate or other entities along the way. Because I think it's the individual that we're talking about here. So if I give to the Salvation Army, or if I give to my local soup kitchen, or the St. Vincent de Paul Society in my Catholic Church,
of course,
then those are the areas that you would still see that benefit. Now, you would hope that folks don't contribute just because they have a tax benefit. But the fact is that we've seen a decrease overall in charitable contributions, and maybe that's a part of the reason why.
Would it be such a bad thing to include corporations? Because look, for better or for worse, corporations have more money than individuals. And if the goal, I mean, we think about, what was the first President Bush's cliche about the lights? I'm trying to remember, but you know, just
1,000 points of light.
1,000 points of light. I mean, that we're part of kind of a community. And so, you know, look, I'm just playing it out with you, but why not include corporations?
I think right now we look at this and say, how can we narrowly treat the tax code in a way that incentivizes future contributions for our neighbors, for the charitable organizations that work in our communities in Southwest Michigan, for me, or any place in the state of Michigan. And I think that this change in tax code in 2011 has benefited the state in its entirety. The question is, how can we help to incentivize that charitable giving for our neighbors?
So let's talk about the reality. You need to get so many votes in the Senate, so many votes in the House.
That's right.
Got to get the governor on board. What do you think? Because on the one hand, it feels good. I can see it being bipartisan. But do you even want to open the 2011 law?
That is a lot of the conversation that's happening right now. And I know Senator Shoemaker, I'm a co-sponsor of that bill. She's working very hard to try to get that as a part of our discussion going forward. When it comes to some of the tax code issues that we face, we're going to continue to have to look towards making Michigan as competitive as possible for job growth, job creation, and making sure that we compete on a level playing field with states who use other tax incentives, who use cash contributions to corporations to come to their state.
I think about the film credit. That was an issue we discussed a few months back.
That's exactly right. And while the film credit didn't land jobs that became permanent Michigan-based jobs, which is one of the big rubs with it, we look towards the tax code, though, and understand that that is one of the components of competitiveness. And so we can't just look the other way with the tool chest full of opportunities that exist in Indiana that I compete with every day.
His name is John Proce. He is a member of the Michigan State Senate. He is the chair of the Nonprofit Caucus as part of the Michigan Legislature. My name is Brad Palmer. We're in Lansing today, and this is Charter Local Edition. Thanks, Brad.